Oh, hi. You caught me becoming a better painter. Painting an army encourages a lot of anti-creative thinking and behavior. 3D printing is actually a great solution to that problem and can open the doors to a lot better painting and a more fulfilling hobby. Roll the intro. Have you ever procrastinated painting your army because you couldn't commit to the color scheme that you wanted? Have you ever wanted to paint your army differently than you have been painting it? Do you want to start airbrushing, but you're scared to practice because you only have so many models? Have you ever experienced hobby burnout? All of these are symptoms of what I consider to be the same root problem. Collecting and painting an army can be super expensive, time-consuming, you get emotionally invested, and all of that kind of leads to this sunk cost kind of fallacy. You get so invested, you get scared to try new things, experiment, and I consider that like an anti-creative environment. And how do we break out of that? How do we not feel trapped? I think that's where 3D printing can help us. One cornerstone of any creative process is just doing a lot. So by creating, experimenting, exploring a lot of different ideas very quickly, with the least amount of time and effort invested, we're able to learn the most amount. So any questions that we have about our intended paint scheme can be very quickly answered by doing things like test models. So what's the best recipe for yellow? How little edge highlighting can I get away with on my Raven Guard army, for example? It's all black, so edge highlighting's everything. Like blue or green. All these questions answered very easily if you just paint test models. But I suspect that test models aren't something that a lot of people do because test models still cost money. So I think that's where 3D printing can really be helpful. You can basically print as many test models as you want at the fraction of the cost of real models, and you can get that practice in. I have here an example of some 3D prints that my buddy Paul painted. You can see that the three models are roughly the same, and he's painted them in three different colorways, albeit small differences. But you can see him experimenting with what's going to be best for his army. You might not know exactly what questions he's asking, but by looking at the models, you can tell that he's answering any questions that he has about what colorways to do, how to do it, and he's kind of building confidence in how he's going to paint the rest of his army by going through this process. You can see the looseness and the flow in his process, and I think that's really something that you get from more mileage, from doing the practice on your test models. So I know that Paul is definitely an amazing painter, and these results may seem out of reach for some of you, but I would argue that a lot of that is actually coming from the style. There's kind of a broad brushstrokes look to this painting style. I think he's painting Nurgle daemons, and that army specifically really lends itself to that loose, organic kind of brushstroke style. If you're a Space Marine player, this might not be something you ever approach, but maybe if you were printing models, you might approach it, and you might be able to try it. So I think it's a good option to just help you open up your mind to how 3D printing can help you become a better painter. One common wisdom for improving any art skill is mileage plus reference. So basically, because you're able to print so many models so quickly and so affordably, and not only so many, but so many different kinds, you're able to get mileage way faster than you were before with this 3D printing. And by trying all these different kinds of models, by painting all these different styles, a Space Marine player can try the Nurgle Daemon army at a fraction of the cost. You'll start to grow exponentially faster for it. For further encouragement, painting is a physical skill like anything else. So the more repetition, the more exercise you could do, the better you're going to get at it. Practice makes permanent. So if you are only painting your Custodes army, then you're really good at painting gold only. So we need to practice our painting muscles in a variety of different ways in order to get that growth. I'll share an experience from my first design class. This was, I think, like 14 years ago now. It was a car design class, and for the first month, our homework was just painting 30 pages of straight lines every day. And the professor, Jim, could even tell, like when we came into class, if our stack was big enough. He could tell if it was 30 pages or not. He would grade us on how straight and horizontal the lines were, if we were getting enough velocity when we were drawing these lines, how close they were together, how close they were to the edge without hitting the edge. And this is just to impress the importance of, painting is the same thing. It's muscle memory, and so it's to your benefit to do as much painting as you can. And if you're only painting the models that you buy and that you're going to play at tournaments, then you're not going to grow as quickly, and you're going to feel stuck, and that could lead to burnout. But Deck, I already feel burned out from painting my Space Marines army. I totally understand. I have been burned out from time to time as well. It happens to all of us. And from my experience, burnout happens when I'm either scared to solve a problem, or I don't know how to solve the problem, I've been staring at it too long, or I just get bored. I've been painting the same thing for too long. And for me at least, the most common solution to burnout is to just put it down, accept that I'm done with this for now, and move on to something else. Shift my focus to another project, paint something else. I think when you're in an army build, it kind of feels counterproductive to do that. You want to maximize your efficiency. But if you burn out, then you're not going to be doing the hobby long term. So I think that's where 3D printing and this mindset really helps. Put it down, paint your 3D print. You'll be less burned out, and you'll do a better job next time. In conclusion, 3D printing is a great way for you to expand your horizons and paint more different things more often, more quickly. I think that 3D printing is a divisive topic within our community, but I really don't think it has to be. I think there are a lot of practical uses to improve and make a more fulfilling hobby for yourself via 3D printing. And I hope that our video today helped kind of open that up for you. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me in the Hobby Corner. I really appreciate it. Please, please, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you can, and I'll see you around.
Venerate the Emperor by subscribing now! Only in death does subscribing end!